Welcome back to another week's episode of Shop Talk Podcast with your host, Burke Sanders. I'm really excited to be back this week so we can continue building this minifigure storage tower that we started on last week's episode. If you're just tuning in for the first time, last week we spent roughly an hour and a half to 2 hours designing this minifigure storage tower. My kids love to paint these things, but I'm always faced with the difficult decision of where to put them. Trying to find something that looks good. I stumbled across a couple resources online. However, none of them were free that met the standards I wanted them to have. So I decided to try and build one that I could offer to the community for free. And this is the result of that up to this point. With a few shortcomings that we weren't able to finish last week, we're going to dive in this week to see if we can't finish up this design. The first task I would like to do is maybe redesign these pillars here so that they have an index, so that they don't freely spin, and possibly add in slots so that we can insert plexiglass between the layers. I also want to look at possibly adding a channel in these so that we can place LED lights so that we could light up this display to make it look even nicer. I will look into that while we're working on it this week and see if we can't leave a hollow tract throughout this design so that we can run wires up and down and potentially wire in some LEDs so that this thing looks even nicer. And the next task I would like to complete this week is I would like to find some sort of topper for this. Now, it can be stacked as tall as you feel comfortable stacking it. This is 5 layers, and it's very sturdy. It's very heavy duty. I think I would be comfortable probably going up to 8, 9, 10 stacks on this before I would be worried about it being a little top heavy. So, however, once you reach the top, we do need to find a way to stop the stack and find a device that we can put on here that will achieve a few goals that I want to do. One, it needs to somehow tie in the top, make it look aesthetically pleasing. And then I would also like to somehow make a handle across the center so that you could potentially pick this up from the top instead of having to carry it from the bottom. However, in order to do that, I think I need to also insert some straps throughout these shelves here, or some slots for straps, 1-inch strap, so that we can actually strap this down so that when you pick it up, it's very stable. That'll be the last thing on our to-do list. If we can't get to that today, that may have to wait for the version 2 design. If the community likes it and they want me to keep working on this, we most certainly will, as I think it's a great idea. So with that, guys, let's dive in. Let's see if we can't make this thing a really great thing to give out to the community. And if you will, follow me over to my computer. And also, I would like to apologize last week. I've got a new microphone. I've got a new boom microphone. And I've got a new audio receiver thing that kind of merges that all together. The battery in it died last week, and I didn't know that it would shut off my camera feed, and so I lost a lot of my video last week. It would have been too much of a pain to go back and reshoot that, so I just did a voiceover. This week I've learned how to provide external power to that device, so we should not have any problems with the recording this week. So thank you for bearing with me as I figure out all this stuff out. Recording technology is new to me. Yeah, it's a lot more complicated than I thought it would be. So hats off to all you other guys with a podcast that make it look easy, because it is not. All right, so we are going to go ahead and go into Thingiverse, and I've kind of done some searching ahead of time because I didn't want to have this podcast take 2 hours again. This is a statue from Lord of the Rings, the big one, while they're on the boat sailing through the big gate. I think, in my mind, I think this is going to be a really good topper piece. The other item that I really liked, but I don't think I'm going to be able to make work just because of the design, is the Southern Oracle here. And this is from an older movie called... Oh man, I'm drawing a blank. That's embarrassing. Never-Ending Story. Yes, Atreyu. So yeah, the Southern Oracle, I think this thing looks great. I just, in my mind, can't figure out a way to, if I were to duplicate these, make this bigger for you guys. So ideally, I'd like them facing each other, and then maybe some type of rod between them on top of the tower so that you could carry your tower around if you needed to, or move it around. However, the posts come up in the four corners, and I think it would look funny with four of these. Like that. That's just a little bit too much going on the top. So instead, we can probably use this guy. And I don't think four of him would look funny. And so we're going to, I don't know if this software lets me mirror or not, but we would mirror him in order to make this work. And then between their hands, I think maybe we could design some sort of handle. So yeah, let's get to it. So last week we used Tinkercad to design a majority of these things. So we will open that file again here. And probably going to start by just cleaning up our workspace. You can see I tried to test the Southern Oracle here, but I did not like how she looked on the top of the tower. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of her. I'm just going to move a lot of this stuff off to the side because they are extra pieces that we don't need at the moment. And as you can see, I was trying to finalize some of the trays here for us so that those are available to you when I post the files online. I don't think I necessarily need to show you how I make every single tray. They're all the same. You just do different size holes when you're making them. Okay, so here's our base. Here's our tray. And our columns. And I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these because we are going to be redesigning this column today. Oops, let me get rid of almost all of those. All right, we'll keep these three. I did go ahead and just see what it would look like to put a slot in these, and I think it looks okay to do that for the plexiglass. The problem I'm running into in addition to that is for these guys, I think it would look funny to cut a slot in the front of this one here. I mean, we'll try it out. Actually, let's just do that now, see how it would look. Let's do it real quick. That's about 1/4 of an inch. I don't think the plexiglass necessarily needs to be that thick, but we'll see. And so this slot would need to come all the way up. That's a bit far that way. And a bit far that way. Okay, so that's what a sheet of plexiglass would look like inside of there. Let's go ahead and subtract that and see what that would look like. If you want to drop it down into there a little bit. Let's merge those and see how goofy that looks. It may not look goofy at all, but if it doesn't, that will save me a lot of time trying to figure out a way to do it. And this is actually a pretty complex file for Tinkercad, so it's taking it a minute to subtract that. So while that's thinking, we will go ahead and actually, no, I want to wait in case I need to undo it. I should have made a copy before I started. See, the problem is it leaves these little gaps, which I guess that's okay. We'll see how it looks. Okay, while that's loading, I'm actually going to go get my electronics kit so I can get some LEDs so that we can have those available for measurement. I should have done this before I started. I'll just cut it out. All right, I'm back. I have my electronics kit now, and we'll have that available when we need it. All right, so let's see. All right, so that doesn't look horrible. I don't love it. I'll tell you what we'll do. We will make one with the cutout for the plexiglass, and then we will make an additional file that doesn't have it so that we have one for each. How about that? If you want plexiglass, you can do this. I think it'd look okay with the glass in it. And then if you don't want the plexiglass, we'll make one without it. Ooh, that was a little bit much. All right, it is not going to give me my plexiglass back. All right, well, there we go. All right, I think it's just being slow loading. All right, let's go ahead and make a copy of that before we mess it up. What is all this nonsense? Okay, all better. Delete that. Let me just make sure this is all. It's just one file. Okay, it's just being slow, guys. All right, so what I would like to do now is work on this column. So this column is what we have originally made. It's okay, but I don't love it. So we are going to try and build a better column today. And in order to do that, I'm going to take this one apart. And I'm going to steal the base. Because that base is the correct size. And what I would like to do is create a circle. It's approximately the same size as the base. It's actually pretty good. Let's go ahead and make this circle a little bit more complex. I like it. So we're going to bevel that circle. We're going to raise it up a little bit. We're going to make it a little taller. And then we're going to lower it back down. Beautiful. Did that go all the way through? No. All right. So one thing I did not like about the column last time was it took up so much material. It was a little excessive in my opinion. And so in order to combat that, we were going to make the actual center a little bit less aggressively large. Let's hit 0.75. That's already 0.75. Let's go ahead and center these. Okay, that looks nice. Let's grow it a little bit. Drop it down. All right, now we're starting to get a column here. So let's not leave it looking trashy. See, I'll never understand. All right, let's change the width. 0.75. Cool. I'll never understand. Why does it not just snap in place, guys? Please explain that to me. All right, well, that looks dumb, so that's a no-go. Let's try a cone. Yeah, and so the reasons I like this software so much is it's really easy just to kind of mix and match a bunch of shapes and come up with some kind of cool designs. All right. See if we can go to 1.25. Is that going to be too big? I guess we'll find out. All right, now we're getting somewhere. It's oh. Let's just raise this up then. All right, that's starting to actually look like a half-decent column. I like this. I think it's going to print better with less supports. All right, let's move this thing out of the way. All right, so let's bring a clean one over here for size. Perfect. All right. So I want to try something here. Don't want the radius. I wonder if there is a way to just slant the bottom. Let's see what we can use. This will be perfect. So what we're going to do, we're going to actually delete this. We're going to bring a pyramid here. We are going to invert it. 180. Let's line these up again because it doesn't know what I'm trying to do. Oh, look at that, guys. We are making a column. All right. And the reason I wanted to do the triangle is so I could print this without supports. I actually need it to be a little bit bigger. Let's try. What is this? 1.3, 1.32. Why are you 1.3 and 1.32? Come on, buddy. Get with it. All right. So let's make this 1.3 and 1.3. And for the 100th time, let's line everything back up. Oh, looking sharp. Now, there has got to be a way, and if you know, you need to let me know how to line these things up so that when they touch a surface, they connect. It's got to be like a connect feature. Those touching. Yes, they're just barely overlapping, which I think my printer can handle that. All right. Let's merge this and see what it looks like. Let's make it a much more attractive color. All right, I like it a lot. I don't like that we forgot to make the cone more complex. So let's take this apart again. Let us smooth out our cone. That looks much better. Let's go ahead and solidify it again. Go ahead and make it a neutral color. All right, I don't know if we actually saved any material. but it looks better aesthetically, in my opinion, and it's going to make doing the rest of what I need it to do easier here. Okay. So once again, let us steal from this. We are going to center. We're actually, before we center that, we're going to duplicate this. We're going to make this one a hole. We're going to drop it so that it is in the base quite a bit. Okay, let's go ahead and center that again. Right, and we have our holes back in the model and the connector. Let's make it transparent for just a second so we can see. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to take a second and go back over to my main camera, and we're going to try to find an LED light that we can use inside of here. I've got these ultra tiny LEDs that they would actually work great, but I don't know if that's something everybody would be capable of doing or not. Got just regular LEDs. I mean, I think these tiny ultra brights are going to be the best here. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, they're super low voltage. Yeah, I think these are going to be what we need to go with because they come in like a ton of colors as well. So we got red, we got gold, we got purple, got yellow, white, blue, green, pink, brown, chartreuse. Okay. These will be perfect. So we're going to design it for these new, more modern, ultra small LEDs. And I think that's going to be beneficial because the people who want to and are able to put LEDs into their device, y'all are going to know how to wire up an LED, and you're not going to want to use these old school ones with the hard metal contacts. And if you don't want to do that, then these small ones are actually going to leave a much smaller hole in the object for you to have to deal with. And matter of fact, why don't we just right now make a copy that will be for people that don't want to use LEDs and that don't want to use plexiglass. Yeah, that looks good, guys. I like it. All right, there's piece number one. Gosh, that looks good. All right, so let's make a simple pass-through. All right, let's make this 0.2. All right, that's going to work, I believe. So we'll have a pass-through that won't affect the stackability of the item. Now we just need to determine where we want the LEDs to shine out at. My first thought is to have them shine out on the sides here so we could make it look like a torch. However, we kind of want the light to go in this direction, so possibly putting them here might not be a bad idea. However, we could also put them here. Let's see what that would look like. Okay, so we're gonna do some weird stuff here. Let's see. 45. Because what I need is for this to cut that face flat. Just a little bit. All right, tell you what, we're going to go back to 90. No, we're not. Yes, we are. There. I think this is what I want. All right, so let's make this a hole. That is going to cut a very small area. All right, let's do that, see what it looks like. All right, that is perfect, I think. Well, you know what? It left a little lip there, so let's see if we can't fix that little lip. Don't know, is that gonna make it any better? I see, that would have made it better. All right, let's go back, back, back. Nope, forward. All right, that should be what we want. So let's make it happen. All right, that's really nice. That is going to work perfect for us. So we're going to change our angle so we can actually make a hole for this LED. And we are going to put a circle on that face. All right, and this circle for these modern LEDs, let's go ahead and measure one. They are tiny. All right, so that's a 0.05 by 0.06. Well, yeah, it's actually 0.05 by 0.04. So we're just going to say 0.05 by 0.05. So if we make this, wow, what do we do there? All right. If we make this, why are you the way you are? Okay, well, let's just see. 0.1, 0.1. No. Can I just have this face, please? Let's just start over. All right, this will unfortunately have to be done manually, as I won't be able to so we have to connect these two paths so that the wires can flow freely between the two. All right, this is going to be a much more difficult task than I originally assumed. Let's actually, instead of making this hollow, let's make it a solid color so we can see. It's actually in the right spot as far as connecting to the tube. Did we get it? Guys, we are golden. Look at that. That's going to be so good. All right. So that's perfect. All right. Can we get rid of this? All right. Let's go ahead and merge these before I mess that up. I think that is decent placement. It's a little lower than I wanted it, but for the sake of time, I don't think it matters. All right, so we do have LED placement here, and that will fit some of these modern small LEDs. And we do have a hole all the way through, as you can see there. That's awesome. Okay. So let's duplicate this a few times. So that can be our four corners. And again, guys, we actually don't have to have LEDs in all of them, but they're going to be there if you want them. And the reason I'm duplicating them like this is because I want to rotate them. That was not correct. All right, undo, undo. 180. $90. All right, one more. All right, so the LEDs should all be facing inward towards where the minifigures would be kept. Perfect. All right, so we have our just regular old Joe. Now let us take a second and line these up here. All right, we're going to have to make these move a little faster. All right, that's close enough for what we need it for. They don't actually need to be bottomed right now, just close. Oh man, that was the wrong hole. Okay, let's just set them where they need to be. There, 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 there. Okay, now let me line them up before we proceed on to the next step. Done. 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 Okay. And let's raise them. And so what I'm doing here is I'm going to actually make the plexiglass cutouts for these. And like I said before, I will go ahead and save a copy real quick of these. Okay, someone wants them without the plexiglass cutouts. So we have a without LED, a with LED, and then we will have a with LED and with cutout. Okay. I'll be right back. I'm going to try to find a piece of plexiglass that I can measure the thickness of so that I can get a roundabout figure for how thick I want this to be. All right, I found a piece that was attached to something that was about the thickness I think it needs to be, and it was 0.13 inches. So we're going to make these slightly oversized at 0.15 inches. Oop. And that'll give you a little bit of play room for a couple different sizes of plexiglass. And we will raise it up. It's a pretty good channel down. Okay, I'm happy with that height. So let's make this thing much taller and much wider. And so what we're doing is just imitating what the size of the plexiglass would be. And it just needs to be large enough to fill the voids between these two pillars. That looks good to me. Let's copy it. Get it over here. I'm actually gonna use Some very eyeball-y math. Get that lined up because it won't make a difference. Once it's in there. And let's go ahead and Control C, Control V one more time. Give it a good old 90-degree. Okay, so let's just double check before we cut everything. That's pretty centered. That's pretty centered. Oh, that's not good. All right, it seems like my Edge browser crashed. Hopefully we didn't lose much. All right, looks like we're good on this front. Not sure why there's that random plane there, but okay. So what we were doing was measuring all these faces. Go ahead and make an extra copy of this before I put grooves in it. Okay, that's just being weird. I think we have a broken Tinkercad, guys. So we're going to go ahead and make this a hole, make this a hole, make this a hole. We're going to go ahead and select. Oh my God, why is it being like this? I need this plane to go away. That was not quite what I wanted to do, I don't think. Let's see. I don't understand why when I duplicate something, it won't just fucking duplicate it in the same spot. so we want to select the base into one of these and merge. Now we want to select this, 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 and merge. Okay. No, that's incorrect. Incorrect, sir. So we actually need 3 of these. And now they're not lined up correctly. There. Okay. All right, guys, I got to figure out how to fix this plane. I have never had it do this to me before, guys. I'm so sorry. Okay. I was freaking out there, guys. All right, so what we're hoping to do here is we got to cut out individually so they're not when we merge them all, we want the shapes to still be individual so we can print them separately on our build plate how we want and not have to let them take up all the space they would take up if we merged them all together. This is just a bunch of extra steps to make it a little bit easier on you guys to print. Okay. I think we are good. Let's go ahead and cut this. Let's go ahead and cut this. And let's go ahead and cut this. All right, we have one section cut. Now let's go ahead and cut this. We'll cut this one. And finally, we will cut this one. And lastly, we'll do this side. Cut there. Cut here. And cut here. Voila. 3 sides for plexiglass with LED mounts. Love it. Love it, guys. All right, let's move our base. Let's go ahead and bring these in. What are you? You are extra. We're going to get rid of you, I think. Okay, so these are our plane with just LEDs, so we're going to stack those there so we know which ones we want. And our ones for plexiglass. Now, eventually, I would like to add textures to these. Go maybe add some brick face, but that will not be today, guys. However, I do think those look much better, and I think they will print much better than our prior ones. And if at some point we want to make these shorter or taller, maybe on version 2, I'll go ahead and make 2 or 3 different sizes of these. But for now, we get one size. Okay, let's go ahead and this is done. This is done. Guess this is just an extra copy done. And the same with that. And since we're done with these, we can delete them. All right. Let's quickly add plexiglass to this piece, and then we will start working on the top. So we made these 0.15. Want them to be wide enough. We want them to be center and tall enough. I wonder if, I just don't think it's going to be, still going to leave a little bit of a gap no matter what I do. Let's make this transparent for a second so I can see if we're deep enough. That'll be okay. All right, I like it. So now we just need 2 copies of this. All right, that looks good. That looks good. That looks good. All right, let's go ahead and make these holes. Perfect. And this one we can merge all together because it's all one piece. And I guess we need to go ahead and add the LED lights for this one as well. It stinks. Okay. I'll make this part quick. We did 0.1, I believe. Now we did 0.2. And these will have to be done manually because I can't center them. So we'll just roughly throw them in place. Now we'll go back. Manually center them as best as possible. It actually won't make a big difference if they're not perfectly centered because they're oversized for just having a small wire run through them. All right, that looks good. And it runs all the way through the board. Perfect. We got to make them holes. All right, let's merge those shapes. And you know, he kind of has a flat surface right here. Actually, this rock face right here. Will it let me put a circle right there? Ah, it doesn't angle quite the right direction. .15. Why do I feel like that's a lot bigger? No, because it is, because we did 0.1. This is going to need to be transparent. Guess that's just going to take a second. Well, shoot, that was easy. Okay. Sweet. All right, Control C. All right, let's get these other ones thrown into place so we can keep going. That one is in there. Okay. So this needs to be rotated 90. This one needs to go 180. This one 90. All right. So now we have the LEDs done on the base. So let's go ahead and make this non-transparent. Let's make this a hole. Let's make this a hole. It's a hole. This a hole. Hopefully that's a steep enough slope that it will print. Okay, and we will merge those shapes. So that's really cool. That is done. And so now we will work on the top. So let's go ahead and see if our... All right, so our file is too large. So let us reduce it in Fusion 360. Yeah, I'm sorry if I'm not talking a lot, guys. Sometimes when I'm doing this stuff, I get kind of lost in my head, trying to figure it out. That is a very complex item. So we are going to go to Mesh, Reduce the face count. We'll click OK. And we will see what happens. It failed. Okay. Let's try it again. Let's just try regular reduce. Maybe it's too much. Let's try to do less at a time. on. Let me see one thing. Let's restart Fusion 360. It looked like it was updating, so maybe it just needs to update. My computer does not seem very happy with me at the moment. Okay, we're all set with latest updates. Let's insert mesh. All right, let's go to mesh, reduce, click OK. Reduce. Let's just try a different way. All right, well, I'm a little stumped here. Never had it not work before. It doesn't really give me any indication as to why it failed. Cannot reduce mesh body or face groups. Use repair to ensure the selected meshes are closed, orient correctly, and have positive volume. All right, let's see if we can figure out how to repair. Okay. Close holes. All right. Let's give it one more try. If we can't repair it, we will move on and we will just make a makeshift top for this because I'm running out of patience with this. Open. Mesh, repair. We want to close holes. Let's click OK before it has time to freeze. All right, that must be a fairly complicated edit. So I'm going to put my computer on turbo mode, whatever that means. Seems to have worked. Now let's try to reduce it. Looks like it's letting me reduce it. Cool. Right, that looks much better. Let's go ahead and export him as STL. We're not going to print it. And now 2. Going to the desktop. All right, that took way longer than I wanted it to. Okay, still not reduced enough, so easy enough. We will reduce once again. And still looks okay. All right. Export. Number 3. Hey, looky there. All right. So we actually need this one that is not plexiglass. Why are you so low? Should be 0. Okay. All right. Well, that's not cool. All right. Let's open it in our 3D print file. All right, import, choose. Let's try 10% scale. Make this bad boy tiny. I'm actually just trying to see how this kind of tight front to back. I didn't know if this was the one I edited. One of them I edited to make a little larger. Wonder where our little guy went. Oh, I see him. Look at him. He's so little. Okay, well, that worked. Let's see if the scale matters in quality. I'm not sure. Let's do millimeters 100%. Let's do 75%. Hey, I finally figured out how to delete the notes. Okay. Wow, that took forever. And I think the quality is the same. Let's just make it a not dumb color. All right, fair enough. Let's proceed. So we need to make this man fit on to here. Just for scale. All right. Oh, I messed that up, didn't I? Okay. Oh, well, you know what? It's because I didn't. Looks about right. All right, so we're clearly going to have to make these have slightly different way of doing a base, but I like the look. So let's get this last one rotated just so we can tinker with it. Close enough. Okay. So if we want to make that work, I think we can. I might have to cut into their feet a little bit just to make the tray work. But let's try that. And again, what we're going here is a handle of some sort. So I kind of want their arms to be in it. I mean, that looks so dumb. I mean, let's make it gray. Maybe it'll look better. No, it looks dumb AF, but ugh. All right. I mean, it looks a little better when you smooth it. I think it's going to be a nightmare to print as well. All right, let's try something different. Just bear with me. It might work, guys. So what we're doing is we are making his arm longer so that it can tie into a rod. All right, that doesn't work. So something like that might work, and then just but you know what else might work is to all right, I got an idea, guys. Because really, he's just there for decoration. So what we could do Goodness. My clicker's gone mad. All right, so we've got the gate, guys. Looking good. And we can just make a handle. Now that's going to be too hard of a shape to make round. Let's just do a square. All right, I think we're on to something. And clearly it looks like trash at the moment, but if we can get it cleaned up. I don't know why I did that. We can even make it look a little nicer. The reason I'm putting this on there is because I want to cover up this hole. All right, I'm liking the look of that. Looks like we can still fit our trays in. For the most part, I need to wonder how it would look if we just mirrored them so I don't have to edit. I like that, actually. No, but it's not like that in the movie. And we need to cover that base there. So let's do this. So we're actually going to build a pedestal for him. See if we can do it this way. All right. Well, that was a dumb way to do that, but I think that's going to look good. All right, I like his arm being into there because that's less we have to support. And the only thing I don't love about this is that it all needs to come inward a little bit so that we can make room for a strap later on. But yeah, guys, I'm just going to kind of power through this. I may even time-lapse it on the video because it's getting late. And then I'll show it to you when I'm all done. All right, guys, that's about it, I think. Go ahead and show you a quick overview of what I just did. So I put these bases here so that the tops of these spikes would dead end there. And so as you can see, the top spike will go in, dead end there, so you can't see those. There is a handle. There are the two statues. And then in order just to kind of dead end the LEDs, I went ahead and put these almost like light fixtures here. That way your top can still be lit by LEDs. And hopefully this will print okay. I will go ahead and export these files, throw them on the printer, and I will try to end this video with a showcase of these when I get them all printed. So I will see you in a day or two once I get all these printed. It'll probably take that long to get some of these printed because they are very big files. And this one in particular is going to have a ton of supports to clean up. But maybe I'll even have time to get some paint on it. So I will check back in with you then. Thank you. Alright guys, it's taken forever, but I finally got all the parts for this tower printed. It looks great, everything printed really good. I made a few small changes to the columns here just to make them easier to print and to print without supports better, so I could get those printed a little bit faster. Also ordered some plexiglass to put in here to test to see if we want the plexiglass in there, if it helps make it look better. I have all the LEDs, I have all the wiring and electronics we need to make this thing look great. So if you enjoyed this, if you want to see what it looks like finished, catch me in the next episode of Shop Talk Podcast, where we're going to actually sit down. We'll wire this thing up with electronics. We'll even put a coat of paint on it, maybe get it spruced up a little bit, looking nice. And finally, we'll put the minis on here and show you what it looks like rocking a full display of these little mini guys. All right, thank you for watching. If you guys enjoy this, please like, subscribe, do all that stuff. It helps me out. And then come back next week for more. And remember, keep building cool stuff, guys. And as I mentioned before, all of these files that y'all see here, everything I've printed, I'm giving away for free. There will be a link below for the files to print off your own set of this tower and Thingiverse. So you just look for the link below. I'll also include links for the magnets and stuff that I've used to kind of built this around. And that way you have everything you need there to build this. Thank you. Mysteries beneath the sun, planets spin